Have you found a GitHub repository and want to get the files onto your computer? Whether you want to download the SQL scripts from the database star repository or any other repository, you can do this using the command line. I'll show you how in this video. Here is a quick overview of what we'll do. First, we find the repository we want to download. Then we open our command prompt or terminal and run a command called git clone. I'll show you exactly how to do this later. Next, we can view and open the files. You could download all of the files individually from the GitHub website, or download them in a zip file, but I think this method is easier because you can get updates to the files. Let's get started. The first step is to open your web browser and open the repository you want to download. If you know the URL already, you can open it. If not, you can search for it on Google or within GitHub. In this video, we'll demonstrate this on my public repository, which has a range of SQL scripts for my videos and blog posts. Once the page is open, click on the green code button here. A menu will appear with several options. On the HTTPS tab, you can see a URL here to the repository. Click on the button here to copy the URL. We'll use this URL when we run the git clone command. Now we have our URL, we can open a command prompt or terminal window to run our command. So if you're on Windows, open the command prompt. If you're on Mac, open terminal. Change to a directory that you want to download the repository to. By default, terminal loads my user directory called BB, but I want to use a different directory. First, we'll create a new directory. We'll call it GitHub_repos, but you can call it whatever you want. We can create it in our Finder or Windows Explorer, or use the mkdir command like this. Next, we can change this directory using the cd command. Now that we're inside a folder we want to save the repository to, it's time to download it. We can do this by running the git clone command. This command is used when you want to download an existing repository to your computer. So we type git clone and then we paste the URL that we copied from the previous step, the one from the GitHub repository webpage. This is what the command looks like. Press enter and it will run. Depending on the size of the repository, it might take a while to download. If you're running this command on the database star repo, it could take a few seconds, as it's mostly SQL scripts and some CSV files. Once the download is finished, you'll be returned to the prompt. You can then open the files and work with them. You can do this in the terminal or command prompt, or within the File Explorer or Finder window, or within an editor such as MySQL Workbench or VS Code. We can open this folder in Finder to see what's inside. We open the GitHub repos folder, and inside it is a folder called Database Star, which is the repo that we just downloaded using git clone. Inside this folder are all of the files from the repository. What if you downloaded the files, but the files in the repository have changed? In the Database Star repository, for example, I add new files when I release videos on YouTube or new posts on my website that contain SQL scripts. Here is what the repository could look like on the GitHub website. We can see a change was made recently here. It shows the latest commit message, which is the comment that was made when the code was committed, which says fixed spelling. It also says when it was made here, and it's also shown further down in the list of files. So we may notice on this repository a change has been made, or we might not notice it. Fortunately, with the git commands, we can check this ourselves. To do this, we go back to the terminal. Change to the directory that contains the repository. This can be done by running cd database star. Once you're inside that directory, you can run a range of git commands. The command we want to run is called git pull, which does two things. It gets the updated files from the remote copy on the GitHub website and merges them with any changes you've made to the files. We can run git pull and see the output. It will download the files that have changed and merge any other changes. That's just one of the advantages of using the git clone command to get the files instead of downloading the repository in a zip file. So if you want to download the files in a repository on GitHub, whether it's my repository here or any other repository, use the git clone command. If you're interested in learning how to use GitHub to track and store your SQL files, check out this video here where I walk you through step by step on how to set up a repository and add your first files. If you want to learn more about database design and SQL, visit my website at databasestar.com. If you like this video, consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching.